This video came from YouTube.
It's trending on Twitter.
Why is it not on the news?
The lion will lie down with the lion.
Come on! I'm starting the show here. We're rolling.
Unbiased and on the fence.
Welcome to Unbiased and on the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you so much for joining. Well, we have a live show with Angela. She's back again. How are you doing today, Angela?
Awesome. Thank you, thank you, Shane. Thanks for having me on your show. It's awesome.
Hopefully we'll have Joseph Reyna join us in a little bit. If he was just getting off work, so I don't know if he'll show up yet. But thank you, Jose, for being so patient.
Thank you, Jose.
She's going to hold down the fort for us and kick out the trolls and all that good stuff. Hey, Troy. Hey, Jamie. Thank you for being here, buddy. Kevin T. Awesome. The room is filling up as we speak. Well, why don't we start with, you can reread some of, I know a lot of people had a hard time hearing, so why don't we start with you rereading the first couple of encounters in February. Does that sound like a plan?
That sounds awesome. And my apologies for the really bad audio last time. I used a really cheap headset for my cell phone, and I apparently taped up my microphone hole, so everything is ready to roll here.
Yeah, you sound awesome now, so no worries there.
Yeah, my apologies. Yeah, so I've got the big download on Valentine's Day 2017 from my son Kristofer, and I'm just going to go over the notes when I asked him about the healing domes that he was busy building. And there's actually a couple of sentences that I didn't include, which I kind of thought, well, just leave it out for now. So I'm adding it now, just so you know that I'm not making stuff up and adding to the original note. So
oh, no problem. Perfect.
Yeah. So I did ask him about the healing domes and why he's building them. And so he said, healing domes are for the asleep people, which he also calls the Walmart people. No offense. And they're crossing over soon in big numbers with the rest of us. They will be traumatized because one minute they will be in front of their TVs, and the next minute will find themselves in our healing domes going WTF. That's his sense of humor. And then he says, now you and your new age hippie friends on Facebook will not be traumatized because you have been anticipating this event since the day you were born. You came here with that info in your DNA and spread it around just by being amongst people and waking them up. That's your mission. You came here for, to wake people up. So that last little bit I didn't include in my first video because I didn't think it was important, but now I'm reading it and it's like, yeah, that is important, especially for our community, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, so did you want me to just carry on?
Yep, sure.
Okay. So then I asked him, so tell me why or how so many people will cross over. Is it from World War III? And he was very adamant, and he said, oh, no, 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 no. No war, no World War III, not allowed. It may look like that from the outside, and that Donald Trump wants World War III. But he's only trying to turn this ship around, and it's making huge waves, but it's shaking the fleas off the dog, and the rats are jumping ship. He's cleaning this mess up. They, in capital letters, meaning the dark ones, the Illuminati, they want to push for World War III because they are desperate and want to, in capital letters, harvest. They want to harvest as many souls as possible before they have to leave. No war, exclamation mark. Don't worry, it will get a bit more ugly for a bit longer, but not much. It's cleanup time. So that was what he said about that.
I'm ready for cleanup time.
Yeah, and just to remind people, this message came through February 14th, 2017. So Donald Trump was really just in office for 4 weeks, and nobody had a clue what he was going to do, who he was all about. And so we've actually seen it unfold over the last year, right? And
Definitely.
so then I asked him, so no polar flip, and I know that was kind of hard to understand last time. The polar flip meaning like, the whole Earth shifting from north to south, like the complete flip of the polar
Right.
caps. So I asked him, so no polar flip or Nibiru hitting us? Because back then I thought if anything is going to happen, Nibiru is going to hit us. And that's what I was kind of obsessed with, like, oh my God, Nibiru is coming. And so I asked him that, no polar flip or Nibiru hitting us? And then his answer was, no, actually, you need to take the word fear in capital letters. You need to take the word fear out of Nibiru. It's a planet that will play a big part in the cosmic galactic dance that's coming up soon. And I asked him, what do you mean? And he said, let's just say, you know how every August you get the tons of meteor showers? And then he said, always on my birthday, because it was August 9th. Well, he said, well, take that and multiply that by 1,000,000. And then the players in capital letters are taking up positions for this cosmic game, this grand event. Many planets are ascending and moving up alongside with planet Earth. And then I asked him about the what does the word players mean? Like when he said the players are taking their positions for this cosmic game,
Hmm.
and he said players meaning planets. And then I asked him, you mean all of these souls crossing over soon is from the ascension process? Is it true the whole planet is moving into 5D? And then he said again, yes, it's what you and your new age hippie friends have been preaching about all these years. And then he continues, I know you tried to wake me up and I thought you were a conspiracy nut, but now I see the big picture. All the planets are moving up. We are all shifting together.
And I heard the
So,
same thing. I think it was through Dolores Cannon that it's this huge event where all of these higher beings and ascended beings are coming to watch. It's sort of like a big event, that everybody and people's
mhm,
been here, or other beings have been here for decades to watch this all go down. So
mhm.
it's exciting times.
Ye-
Might
It's
not feel like it
exciting
from this
times.
side.
I know, and
I
I
was,
know, and it's been a long haul for all of us, right? A lot of us have anticipated this to happen on December 21st, 2012, of course, right?
yeah.
And like I said in my first video, I think we're off by 5 years because of the calendar that was mucked around with and stuff. So I think it may have just started like, last December in 2017. So I don't know, I could be wrong. But anyways, did you want me to carry on?
Let's see, where are we at now? Is that are we to the, what is it, Valentine Day one yet? Or,
Yeah, yeah, I still am on the downloads from Valentine's Day.
yeah, let's carry on.
Okay, and then I asked him, what about UFOs? And then he said, I need another 2 hours just to talk about them, Mom. I know I always razzed you about cloud ships, and that's what I said in my first movie video, that when we were going on road trips, that, I saw clouds that looked like UFOs, and I always told him that, hey, this is probably just a disguised UFO, like disguised as a cloud, cloud ships. And he said, yeah, sure, Mom. And then every time he saw a weird looking cloud, he would say, look, Mom, a UFO. So he razzed me about that. And so I did ask him, well, will they evacuate us, the UFOs, right?
Hmm.
Um, there are so many sightings now. And then he said, well, I don't really see any humans evacuated onto ships, as that would traumatize them even more. Right now, there are tons from all different star systems around Earth. mostly watching and protecting and keeping their eyes on any nuclear facilities or missiles, as well as checking for space to keep us protected.
Oh, wow.
Then they are all gathering here to watch the big show. And
That,
then I asked them again, sorry, go ahead. Did you want to
I
say
was going to
something?
say, that's, it really makes you wonder with that missile that, was supposedly headed for Hawaii, if it wasn't zapped down by help that we have or something. I know there's a lot of different
Yeah,
conspiracies around it, but it just makes you wonder if it was a nuclear bomb that got zapped out of the sky by help that we have here on Earth,
by the
by
by
higher
our
beings.
ETs that are,
Yeah,
yeah, that are on our side, right?
definitely. Definitely on
Yeah,
the
so
table. I'll let you carry on though. Sorry. I was just thinking real
no,
quick.
that's fine. Anytime you want to cut in and add, I appreciate that.
No problem.
So I asked him, sorry. So I asked him about this big show, this big event, and he said, "Okay, Mom, kind of like say you give birth to your firstborn in the hospital, and every one of your family members is in that room with you to watch this miraculous birth because you're all very excited for this event." Well, so it's like that, he said. UFOs come to watch Earth give birth, but the planet itself will not be destroyed by war or Nibiru.
That's a relaxing thing to think of.
Yeah, no kidding, right? And then the next question I had was about the healing domes. I asked him what they look like inside, and he said, completely magical. Imagine being inside an orb, like an observatory, where when you lay down as a patient, at night you see the sky with stars on the ceiling, and during the day, at the ceiling of this dome, you see blue sky and white puffy clouds. And then he said, "No chemtrails, Mom, haha," because I tried to tell him about chemtrails and he didn't believe me.
But he knows
So
now.
he knows now, like you said, he can see the big picture from up there, right?
Hmm.
And then he said, you know, plus inside the healing domes, you put rainbows and sunshine, you see that. And then he says, "Okay, Mom, take all the New Age crystal stores in the world with all their energy, angels, crystals, incense, New Age music, healing colors and scents, and stick them all into one healing dome. Then add little water fountains, birds, butterflies, dragonflies, fairies, sparkles, and sprinkles, and you get the idea of healing domes." Oh,
Sounds like a beautiful place.
so it does, yeah. I can hardly wait.
Definitely.
So I'm just going through the other notes here. I think, oh yeah, and then I asked him, oh, sorry,
Now, while you're finding your
he also
place,
said,
let me. We have a bunch of people that just hopped in. We got 33 people,
sure,
but I
yeah,
want
go
them to
ahead.
know that I've got Joseph Reyna in the title. He's supposed to be hopping in here in a little bit, so not false advertising here. He just got off work. He's just getting off work, and hopefully he'll join us here shortly. So this is Angela. This is the person from a couple videos ago. Most of you all have seen it already. And she is telling the story about her son who passed away, and he started giving her messages. Just before she'd fall asleep, he'd have her get up and write down what he showed her and what he told her, and that's what she's reading right now. So just a little update. Okay, sorry, so you can carry on.
No, that's fine. He did add a little blurb. It says about the cosmic galactic show, it will be like fireworks in the sky, but a million times more beautiful and with stars and planets instead of pyrotechnics, man-made pyrotechnics for fireworks, right?
Hmm.
So instead of instead of fireworks, man-made fireworks, is the planets themselves are going to be like a meteor shower firework for this cosmic galactic show. And I can just slip in this little message I received a couple of nights ago.
Hmm.
I did try to connect with my son over the last few days because people want more information and now the pressure is on. And I tried and I tried and nothing, nothing, nothing. He didn't come through. But then 2 nights ago, my guides, as I was falling asleep, my guides were telling me very loud, telepathically, and I could see it run through my head with capital letters. And they said, Cosmic Galactic Show coming. And they said this like 20, 30 times over and over and over to the point where I actually almost got a little bit upset. And I said, okay, I got the message. Now can I go to sleep?
I wonder if they were wanting you to get up and write it down, but they said it so many times you didn't need to, I guess, right?
Yeah, no kidding, right? But I just wanted to slip that in because I got that message 2 nights ago from my guides.
So it was Galactic Cosmic Show coming? Is that what it was?
4 words. It said Cosmic Galactic Show coming.
Cosmic Galactic Show coming. That sounds exciting.
Yeah, I know, right? And they said it so many, like I said, they said it like 20, 30 times to the point where it's like, okay, I got it. Can I go to sleep?
And have you noticed all the meteors? I mean, even since the last show last Tuesday, it's like and just the other night I went outside and looked up, and within like a minute, pew, there's a shooting star across the sky. It's slowly picking up, but how many
It's
people are paying
starting.
attention? You know what I mean?
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people are glued to their cell phones. So, but yeah, it's starting to happen, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So was
And
that the end
so,
of
yeah,
was that the end of February?
no, there's still more for that download for Valentine's Day. So he also said, also, Jesus won't come down on a cloud either, like so many churches believe. Let's just say he will be everyone's so-called Walmart greeter when we're all crossing over.
It's so funny when you say that. It's like totally Jesus. He would be, the welcoming committee. And it really doesn't change much if you think about it. Whether he's on the cloud meeting you or
Mhm.
on the other side as you shift over or whatever, it's, either
That's
here or
true.
there. It
And
doesn't change it much, but it does give you this picture of more of a servant like he always seemed to be.
and yeah, like he's got a great sense of humor. I had about 5, 6 dreams over the last 25 years of Jesus that were so vivid and so like you still remember them 100 years later, right? And he was always so goofy and full of joy and like humor, like
Yeah.
so I can totally see him even dressed up in a Walmart apron.
Totally.
Um, and so I asked my son, how do I know all this information is for real? And he said, Mom, I hate to say I did lie to you a few times while alive on Earth, mostly about money and stuff, so you don't worry. But this time I need you to trust me. I am not shitting you with any of this. And I'm sorry about the language, but I didn't want to edit it, and I just wanted people to feel his spirit that, he, anyways, I didn't want to edit that bad word.
Oh, I'm sure there's probably, the way I was raised that, you don't get to go to heaven if you say that word and stuff like that. So, or drink a beer and all these things that we get caught up on are so nothing. You know what I mean? It's so weird the way
Yeah.
religion has had us scared about everything. When, a
Oh, I
loving
know.
God wouldn't trip off of little things like that. It's just a word, and it's not like he's
Exactly. I
calling
mean,
somebody a word. He's just using it like a normal word.
yeah, exactly right. So it's not a bad word, but he just wanted to make sure that, hey, this is for real. I'm not making this up kind of thing, right?
Right.
And then I said to him, how long until we all reunite again? And he said, oh, Mom, time is so hard to nail down for us from up here where there is only now, the now moment. It's like scooping up a handful of water and asking me how many drops of water are in there. Little ones, medium ones, big ones. I don't know how much longer. Months, not years, is all I keep hearing. Gotta go, and he poof, he was gone. So you gotta grill him while you can, and really fast before he disappears.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he said to me, Mom, you're fading and almost asleep. I'm losing you, but please write this down before you fall asleep tonight. You might not remember anything tomorrow. And I'm so glad I did, because the next day, honest to God, when I was reading the notes, half of it I had forgotten, or I thought I dreamt about it, but no, I was definitely awake and sitting up in bed when I wrote all this down, when I got the download.
Why is it so easy to forget things? I've had really vivid dreams, and towards the end of that same day, I couldn't even remember it. You know, it's like you would think you'd be able to remember them,
Hmm.
but I don't know. It's just strange. You can totally see how we forgot when we came here. We forgot the mission.
Yeah,
We
no
forgot what was
kidding,
going
right?
on. We forgot we volunteered to come here and help the planet out. I could totally see myself volunteering and then forgetting. Totally. I mean, I don't have any problem with that
Oh,
at all. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, no kidding,
Yeah,
right? But
Jamie, she's got a
hey,
new mic. Sounds great. Jamie was bragging on your new
yeah,
mic.
yeah. Oh, hi, Jamie from Ontario.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Sorry, I can't pull up the chat room. Forgive me for not being able to type you back, but
It's awesome. It's so many people from Canada. It's amazing.
yeah. Yeah, I think Laszlo is from Calgary as well. I haven't
Yeah,
met him yet, so.
it's amazing.
Hmm. So that was the message for Valentine's Day. And I don't know if you want me to reread the one in August when I grilled him about the Mandela effect.
Yeah, we can go over it.
Or
Definitely.
did you want to, is Joseph, did you want to bring him in? Or,
He's not in here yet with us, looks like.
oh,
He should pop up down here by my head when he pops in. So I would just,
okay.
I think a lot of pretty much all of my viewers know the Mandela effect's real. So it's, for
Mm-hmm.
those who haven't heard, I'm sure they'll love to hear it again. So that'd
Do
be
you want me
great.
to, yeah, would you like me to read it then?
Sure, yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so I asked him, what about the Mandela effect, right? And then he gave me a downloaded picture of him, and he's snickering and giggling and laughing. He's got his fist in front of his mouth, and he's like, you know.
Yeah,
And I got frustrated with him because we're still down here in 3D, and we're still struggling with everyday life, and we're trying to figure this out. And he's up there, he's having a big party, and he's like laughing about us, right? So I got a bit frustrated when he was giggling and laughing, and I said to him, "What is so darn funny?" And I probably used another word, but and he said, "Mom, the Mandela effect is all us in capital letters. We are the ones doing it. Our higher selves, our oversouls on the other side are doing it. It's so funny to watch ourselves from up here. It's like watching ants. You guys down there are in a so-called computer game matrix, and it was originally set up eons ago on Earth for experience, but was hijacked by the Dark Ones. Our higher selves split up into many, many aspects to infiltrate the system from within to get rid of the Dark Ones. We are all one in capital letters. Just think of every soul on earth as a beautiful grain of sand. Each is unique. Each is like a piece of glass inside a kaleidoscope. It is always the same pieces and all contained in the same container. But with every turn you make, it shows a different picture. We had forgotten who we really are, and so we, our higher selves, needed to send ourselves a reminder through fun and play, logos changing and stuff, so we could not feel threatened or think it's evil stuff. A fun spin on things to remind ourselves of our heritage, to find our way home. Yeah,
yeah, the
we had,
mandala
w
effect.
yeah, to find our way home. Sorry, it just chokes me up because we're all homesick, right? We're so homesick.
Hmm.
To find, we had decided to play hide and seek and got lost for a very, very long time. It started out as a fun game, but we all got so lost on Earth. Now it's time to wake up. The reason we had decided to use Mandela is because we wanted to actually get a message across to ourselves. We are each a grain of beautiful sand, the Tibetan monks do when they make a mandala. We are all unique and beautiful pieces of sand that make up that whole mandala that is so put together by so many Tibetans with so much love and meditation and dedication. And when it is all finished, beautiful picture of oneness through love. Then the Dalai Lama will say a prayer, mix all the sand together into a beautiful rainbow pile of grains of sand, and take it to the river and dump it in there with a blessing of love that will be carried all over the world through the water. And that was the end of that transmission. So what he's saying is the Mandela effect is it ties in with all the timelines that every time we make a decision, we create another timeline, and then now we are at the end times where all the timelines are emerging, and whatever decision we have made is now showing up that whatever decision we didn't make played out on its own and is now coming back. And this is all the changes we're seeing from other people that have made decisions as well. And so this was a beautiful message that we all came down here and split up into so many different aspects. And, now we're all merging back into one. And this is where we're seeing all these changes.
Definitely. It's like the law of one, where we realize that we're getting back to one. And just the other day, I was thinking about a little baby that knows nothing. And they're looking around, and the very first thing we start doing is teaching the baby separation. This is a smile. This is your mom. This is your dad. And our whole life is learning to divide. Have you ever really thought of that? I started thinking, I was like, wow. And you're like, here's
Wow.
hot, here's cold, here's black, here's white, here's, and you teach your kids shapes and it took me back to the when Jesus said you got to become like little children.
Hmm.
When a little baby, and I've never gone back to a baby that really knows nothing except everything is sort of a big blob of oneness. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
They don't know anything
Exactly.
other than oneness.
Exactly. Yeah. Straight from heaven, straight from the source, pure and innocent, right?
Definitely. Uh,
Yeah.
was that the end of? And for anybody that would, I recommend if you didn't see the last video we did to look those up. The mandalas, Tibetan mandalas. Uh,
Hmm.
They are so beautiful, and well, I thought they were carpets or rugs at first. I could not believe it was all sand that they sat there and took weeks to make these beautiful things. And then at the end of it, they brush it all into a pile. It's like no.
I know. It's so beautiful. And last time in the video, I said that because he downloaded this whole picture movie thing into my head when he was telling me all this, and I could see them do it with this little stick, but I thought it was a pair of tweezers. So that's what I said in the video. They take a pair of tweezers and use each grain and make that picture because that's what I saw in the download, and I didn't want to edit it. And I had no idea, like I said, until after the download when I hopped on YouTube and Googled mandalas and how they make them. And then I saw how they put all the grains into this little funnel, little stick, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, so it's not a pair of tweezers, it's a little funnel with, but that's what I saw, so that's what I said, and I didn't want to edit it and make it, you know what I mean?
totally
Something
looks like it
else.
though. Yeah, I can
Hmm.
see. Just the fact that you were able to see that to begin with is amazing. And I think a confirmation that
Yeah, and
he
it's,
could tell you that, and then you can go look it up, and you're like, holy crap, I never knew about these things, and here he showed them to me. So I know it's hard for others to
yeah.
believe it, but that's reassurance for you that you weren't just dreaming something up out of your own mind. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah, and
awesome.
exactly. And when I get these downloads, it's not like in the middle of the night. It's like, when you turn the light off and you just hit the pillow and that's what comes in. It's not like in the middle of the night and you're in the middle of a dream or whatever. So I know it's not a dream. And I know when I hear him, I can see him, I can feel his spirit. I get the downloads so fast and so furious with pictures, emotions, music behind it, like the one I was saying about the symphony orchestra, right? And
Hmm.
I didn't write that one down, but because it would take me like an hour to write down, it was filled with so much emotion. And every time I think about it and the download and the music and the love emotion behind it, it just chokes me up
Oh
because we're
yeah,
all,
I love
yeah, it's
that
so
too.
emotional.
But the main thing with that, because I think the sound came through really good, so people can watch the other video for the orchestra one. But the main thing was
Mhm.
about how everything seemed chaotic, and then it seemed like it got dark and scary. But then this beautiful music emerges,
Mhm.
and the best was yet to come was his main. For anybody who
The
didn't see
main
the,
message
yeah,
when he, yeah, the main message, when he takes his friend's hand and says, trust me, the best is yet to come. So yeah, it was so amazing.
oh
Oh.
wow. So if you guys have any questions, put at unbiased, and it will pop up for me to ask Angela if you do have any questions. Otherwise, I'll let her carry on, but I wanted to let you guys know that she's got a Facebook group. I put the link in the description so you guys can go join that group. If you want, it's a closed group, but you just basically apply for it, and then they'll let you into it. And because I know a lot of people in the comments were saying that they had similar stories that they wanted to share, and I thought it would, uh, or actually, we thought it would be a good thing to come together and talk about it. She was going to do it more like an email or whatever, and we kind of thought it would be good for everybody to be able to read everybody's story and be
Mhm.
encouraging for everyone. Plus, I can see why somebody wouldn't want, just like the Mandela effect. You might not want to talk about it because you don't know how people will take it and things like that. But then when you get in this group with like-minded people, people will open up a little bit more, I think, when they're reading other people's stories. So that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you guys, all of your wonderful, lovely comments. They just touched my heart so deep, and I just wanted to return all the love that you have given me with all these comments. And I love you all so very much. Thank you so much for your wonderful comments.
I tell you what, this is like the best group of people. That's why I like people that say that Mandela effect's evil, it's a bad thing, and I'm like, I don't think
Mm-mm.
so. Things changing, your reality changing, and it's been so harmless. I know people don't see it as harmless, but if you can think about how bad things could be if the traffic lights changed in the middle of traffic and you had all these
Mhm.
wrecks, and how are all these things happening? But and then the other thing, it seems like people that aren't able to handle it don't see it for some reason. So it seems
Yeah,
gentle in a way, gentle but firm in a way. You know what I mean? It's like it's a wake up
yeah.
call, but it's a gentle nudge to wake up. I feel like.
And it's through like play and cuteness, like animals showing up with rainbow tails, or trees that are rainbow colored now, or it's cute changes. It's nothing threatening, and that's the download he gave me too. We did this to ourselves, like through fun and play, so we don't scare ourselves thinking that it's something satanic or evil, and oh my god, it's CERN or it's the Illuminati, and we're all going straight to hell. They're opening up portals, and no, it's if that was the case, if the Mandela effect was because of CERN opening up dark portals and we're all going straight to hell, why would they show cute little animals turning into rainbow colors? And it's just yeah.
That's so true. Yeah, I mean, if everything's always money motivated when it's done by man, and this does not seem like it's a money motivating thing. It's little tips. You got letters merging together, you got
Mhm.
different little indications about oneness and getting back. A lot of the messages I came up with was about getting back to our right brain, our creative side, and our
Mhm.
loving side, our feminine, you know, uh, side of our brain. And I just don't see, evil delivering messages like that, to be honest with you. And a lot of
Yeah,
people say
exactly.
that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say aliens. People will say, we have to worry about an alien attack and stuff. But if you really understood how far advanced they were, if they really wanted to
Mhm.
wipe us out, they could totally zap us. There's no way they've been around as long as they have with the technology they have. If there was something to fear, like they wanted to zap us out of here, they would have a long time ago. So,
They would have done it a long time ago,
oh,
yeah.
sure.
And like Kristofer said, I mean, the benevolent ETs, our brothers and sisters from different planets, are here to protect us, and they are actually literally taking care of the nuclear facilities and nuclear missiles. If you're shooting them down, or uh, malfunctioning them, so we have protection big time, and these guys are gone. They're out of here. And like he said, it's like a cancer that needs to be taken out now before it spreads into the galaxies and destroys everything that was created by the Creator.
Hmm.
So
Definitely. And Casey Cat 5 asked, why would we change the Bible in such a way? And I think, and I've covered this quite a bit before, but I think a lot of people are in prison in their religion. They really are. They have sort of reached this point where they've given away their power elsewhere to the church. They're not
mhm,
really going directly to God, to source. They're not really trying to further their spiritual walk. And I feel like it was to really wake us up from looking at this book as the way to go. I mean, even
mhm,
the Bible itself says Jesus was the Word, but yet people call the Bible the Word. When in John it says the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. So I think we should look to Jesus, not the Bible. I think Jesus was the
mhm,
perfect example of someone that was completely about service to others, loving others, compassion. And when we look at the Bible on the whole, and we run our life by the Bible itself, there's a lot of misunderstanding in there. I think we really need to look to the example of Jesus. So
yeah,
that's
and
why.
somebody made a comment about that on under the video, and I forget if it was the same person or not, but I did leave a comment underneath, and it was actually really good food for thought, because it made me think as well, why would the Bible all of a sudden have all these nasty words in there and profanities when it's supposed to be the holy book? And so it made me think for a bit, and then I realized, wait a minute, if every time we make a decision, like let's say, for example, and I wrote that in the comment, um, eons ago, when the person that wanted to create the Ford logo just drew a straight line. He's sitting at his drafting desk, at his drawing desk, and he's going, Ford, okay, Ford. Should I make a straight line through the F, or should I make a piggy tail through the F? So now he's got two options. Which one should I choose, one or two? And so he decides on number one, the regular line that we're all familiar with and remember. But the second decision, that piggy tail forward, it's going on a different timeline. It's playing out, and it's all merging together right now. And this is why we're seeing it. And so if you take that example, every time somebody makes a decision between, number one or number two, you go with number one and focus all your energy and consciousness onto that, and that plays out. Well, like Dolores Cannon says as well, it happens to decision number two, that still plays out somewhere. And so if you take that and go back to 2000 years ago when the Bible was written, ironically 300 some years after Jesus was crucified, written by people that wanted to control the planet, wanted to enslave people, wanted to create a dogma, and twist and his messages around. They were not coming from a place of love. And so they're sitting down writing nasty things in there, and then probably it got edited later, but that still plays out in a different timeline, and it's now surfacing. So now you open up the Bible and you see all these nasty words in there, and you go, how can this be? But if you look at it the way Dolores Cannon describes it, it makes perfect sense. And then it
Hmm.
ties into what you just said, that you know what Jesus came to bring, a message of a loving God, and love your neighbor, love thyself, not nasty stuff. So, but they wrote probably some nasty stuff in there, and it's showing now. And we need to really just step away from the Bible and go, okay, what's the real truth?
Exactly, and just really focus on Jesus' message. Although it's been tampered with a little bit, it didn't really change the overall
Hmm.
message. And I wanted to say really quick, because Casey Cat 5 mentioned that some of the stuff was disturbing. I wanted to say a lot of the things that are disturbing that people are claiming as Mandela effects, for me personally, I remember being disturbed about them. I'd be painting and listening to the Bible on CD, this was 20 years ago, and I remember being like, "What?" and rewinding it back, and just being blown away. Some of the stuff in Ezekiel, and there's some stuff that's in the Old Testament that, for me, it's always been there. I mean, and I know how the Mandela effect works. I know how, some things, maybe it was changed back then, but I do remember it specifically back then. And so a lot of, and then the thing with Jesus, I brought this up before. There's a parable he tells now that, sorry if you hear my grandson in the background. He's out
Oh,
there playing and stuff. But Jesus, in one of his parables now says, "Bring them before me and slay me." And he's talking about the rich man. And one of the things that came to me with that parable of the rich man saying that those who did not want to serve me, bring them here and slay me. I looked deeper at it. I got past the shock of it, and I saw it as, what is our main hang up here on earth? Our main hang up is really our flesh, our body. And someone sent me an email upset that I call it meat suits all the time. They're like, you're
yeah.
putting down our physical, you're putting down our physical vehicles, but that's sort of the point. It's our flesh. We don't have a problem putting too much focus on that. We have a problem with not focusing on our spiritual side. So that's why it seems like I'm sort of demeaning the flesh part of us, but that's what that parable is saying when Jesus says, "Come here and slay them before me, slay the flesh," because our hang up to our spiritual life is our flesh. In a way, where
Good
that's when
point.
you sort of think about self, you get selfish. It's all about me, 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 the flesh. And
Hmm.
of course, religion has taken that and gone overboard, like they do with a lot of things. But that's really the whole thing. If you're in service to others, you're not worried about your flesh or your physical vehicle. I think they wanted me to say physical. Oh, I can't think of what the word they wanted me to use. Can you please use this instead? It's like, oh, really? It's funny how certain things bother certain people, but yeah, that's sort of the
Yeah.
point. I was sort of trying to put down the flesh by calling it that because I think we need to look beyond these bodies that will die. And oh, we got a subscriber. Thank you so much. I can't read your name over there, but thanks for
Thank
subscribing.
you.
All right, so I kind of went off on a religious tangent there. Sorry about
Oh no,
that.
that's awesome. Yeah. It all ties together, right? So it's all good.
Yeah, and Dead GPK said Old Testament was always brutal. There is a lot of brutal stuff and a lot of fear-based stuff, and that's one of the things when I was reading the Law of One. It said you need to use discernment when you're looking at that old stuff
Hmm.
because not
Hmm.
all of it was from the Father God, the heavenly God that we think of as God. Some of it was by
Hmm.
archons, and they used fear a lot of times. They would
Hmm.
say, I'm going to torture you for 3 generations, your kids and their kids. And would a loving God really torture your kids and your grandkids for something you did? That just doesn't sound like a loving God. I would certainly not do that to my kids, you know?
Well, Zachariah Sitchin, goes into the Anunnaki. I don't know if people are familiar with that, who came here 450,000 years ago and enslaved people to mine gold for their planet. And so Anunnaki, like the main god, had two sons, Enlil and Enki.
Hmm.
And was it Enlil was the bad one, right? Yeah, and he actually he made himself into a god, and he's the one that created all the fear and the dogma to control people. And that was most of the Bible was written based on that God. And Enki is actually the good-hearted God, the loving God that helped humanity and wanted us to thrive and evolve. So
And
whenever go ahead.
I was going to build on what you were saying there because you have Enlil, which was El, and, the historical God
Mhm,
or Jehovah, or we think of Jehovah as the Father at the very top, but that's really not the case.
mhm,
And I think one good example that once I realized what you're saying, it blew me away. And it was the example that it baffled me before, but there was this plague that God put on the Israelites way back. And then he comes back and he says, well, hang the snake on this pole, and whoever has the plague or whatever, come and look at it. And when they look upon the snake, it'll go away. Now, my first thought was, why are they looking at a snake? Why would God change his mind? That totally doesn't sound like something a God that knew what he was doing to begin with would do. But when you
Mhm.
realize that in the Garden of Eden and onward, you've got this battle between these two brothers, Enlil and Enki, and
Mhm.
Enlil put the plague on him. Enki shows up later and says, and he's the serpent in the garden as well. So you got these two brothers, and I don't believe either one of these should be, served as God. So please don't say I'm saying follow Lucifer or anything. But Lucifer, or the Inky character, has always been about knowledge, like eating the fruit in the garden or hanging the snake. And then you got all your Eastern cultures with the plumed serpent heads and the dragons and all that. And that's sort of the Inky side, which is about knowledge. And for anybody who doesn't know, there's a really cool video. You can Google it. It was on a Leak Project where it said the eagle versus the serpent. And they actually follow the symbolism of the eagle and the serpent down through all of the different countries, flags, and symbols and all that. And there's been this battle between these brothers who apparently help out these governments along the way,
Oh.
and even in Mexico, you've got the serpent in the eagle's mouth. And so, yeah, there's been this battle that we feel like it's the ultimate Satan against the ultimate God, but it really isn't that. Because think about it, if there was this ultimate God figure fighting against Satan, would it really be a battle? That was another thing that would always bother me. I'm like, why would there be a battle between this all-powerful God and then just this fallen angel character? It seems like he would be
Yeah.
nothing to
Yeah,
compared to
exactly.
him.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that makes sense. And people have taken Enlil and Enki and made gods out of them when in reality they were created by our God, our creator
Hmm.
to begin with as well, right?
And immediately, immediately, wrong word. But they're basically like us. We're just blind to the fact of how powerful we
Mhm.
are as, beings. So they're really no more powerful than us other than knowing their power.
Yeah, and they genetically modified us. They
Hmm.
butchered our 12-strand DNA down to two strands, but we're now evolving. We're rebuilding them. And the new kids coming in that are born are actually born with 3 DNA strands,
Hmm.
and they're afraid that we're taken over because we're getting back to our innate powers, our God-given gifts that they have taken away from us because they mucked around with our DNA to
Hmm.
the point where we're just basically in survival mode, just work, eat, sleep, procreate and die. And that's all they wanted us to be. But we're more powerful than they are, and they know that, and they're actually afraid of us. And once we realize we have that power,
Hmm.
wow.
And that brings me to one of the Mandela effects that I thought was another little hint at what you just said. And that's the one where it used to be, God on this cloud that's shaped like a brain reaching from the pineal gland or whatever down to Adam. And it used to be diagonal, like he's reaching downward to him, like he was above him, more
Oh,
powerful, right? And then now it's shifted to where he's almost reaching straight across. And I think that's a little hint at what you just said, that about what of us being powerful, just as powerful.
yeah, I know which one you mean. Yeah, like the two fingers touching is it
Hmm.
by Descartes? Or,
Or Da Vinci, I
that
think. Yeah.
Yeah, Da Vinci or Descartes, like the French philosopher, I think. I don't quote me, but I know which one you mean in the painting. Yeah.
Right. And I didn't even know the brain thing until I saw one of Jacob Israel's videos where he was showing how it's sort of shaped like the brain and the
Oh.
hypothalamus and the pineal gland and all of that. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, I totally didn't notice that.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah,
got
no,
some
that's amazing.
questions. Sorry, I
Mhm.
totally missed them here. I'll let you talk while I look here.
Yeah, while you're looking, I've got another analogy that kind of ties in with the Mandela effect a little bit. It's not for my son, but I watched a YouTube video a couple of weeks ago by a lady that does Akashic record readings, and then the person that's interviewing her is asking her, well, how does that work? And she's trying to come up with an analogy how you can find your past lives and put them all together, and why can't we remember all of our past lives? And then so she used the analogy saying, okay, so let's say you're sitting in a dark room, and I actually put this in my comment section as well. You're sitting in a dark room on a chair, and somebody turns a little spotlight on a picture on the wall for 5 minutes, and that's all you see. You stare at that picture for 5 minutes, and then the light goes off, and then it's dark again for another 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden, somebody turns a little spotlight onto your couch for 5 minutes, and so you look at that for 5 minutes, and that's all you see. And it goes off again, it gets dark again for another 5 minutes. And then the third spotlight comes on and is showing your kitchen sink over there. And you look at it for 5 minutes because that's all you see. And then the light goes off again and it's dark. And then all of a sudden, somebody walks into the room and turns the light switch on, and you see the whole room and you go, oh my God, I didn't know that was all in here. That's so beautiful. And your room representing yourself, right? Or representing all your other aspects that are coming together now, merging. And so you didn't know that you all had that. But the thing is, you could not be made aware of that all at the same time, because it would have fried your nervous system. If we would have been able to see all of our past lives together and remember every single one, it would be too overwhelming for our nervous system, because it's not ready for that yet. Once we're back up running on 12-strand DNA again, then we can handle it. Our brain can handle it. Our neurons, our nervous system can handle it. And so we slowly have to, put the light on this and a light on that and a little bit of light here and a little bit of light there, so it doesn't overwhelm us, it doesn't fry our brain. And this is what's happening now. If Creator or God or ourselves up there would turn the light switch on overnight, and we would see we would all fry. It would be too much and too overwhelming. And so it kind of ties in with the Mandela effect. I think that we're seeing little things here and there, and it's just another light that shines on another object, and you kind of chuckle and you laugh because there's a skunk with a rainbow tail or whatever. you know yeah, so I really enjoyed that analogy because it made so much sense.
And that is true. We would be overwhelmed if we could see everything. I often wonder if that's what it's like when you go back to source, if it's like you remember them all again. You're like, oh yeah, and you remember 100 lives lived or whatever. But just to get to a question before it scrolls too far away, someone was asking about being made in God's image, and it's so funny because it seems like the further I go in my life, the further I can see things as being true in several ways, and I can see everyone's view and be like, yeah, they're kind of all true, and none of them really discounts the other one. But you can see it as, we were made in, the Enlil's image. If he actually manipulated our DNA, you could see that as being true. You can see it as we were made in the image of God, as if we're all just a drop of the ocean that is God. I believe that statement can be totally true from so many different angles, you know what I mean? So, that's really all I have about being made in the image of God.
I wish I knew the answer to that, but I think one day we'll find out.
Yeah, definitely. Let me make sure I'm not missing any other questions.
Yeah, no worries.
It's a bummer Joseph didn't make it in. I guess he had to work a little later than he thought.
Oh, that's okay. We can do another one with him if you want.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, he had some questions. He said he was talking about the Flash event, and I thought it sort of coincided with the event with the cosmic sun, and where we're going to see all these fireworks in the sky, or meteor showers times a million. And I think it's all going to tie in together whenever that does happen, because that actually went with the Allison Coe video I did before the one we did. That there's
she did say it's going to be the first 3 months of January. The first 3 months of this year, January, February, March.
Right.
She said it's going to happen.
And that would be awesome. And you know what? That goes right along with when I woke up in March of last year. It's almost been a year that I've had this channel. I guess in a little bit, almost a month or whatever. But I woke up on the 22nd of March, which was like a week and a day before my birthday.
Oh, wow.
Which I turned 44. I'm dating myself, but I don't really care. I've turned 44 this year, which is 4/11. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
basically, it was a week
wow.
before that. It was the spring equinox. So I'm wondering if it's going to have something to do with, the because it seemed like a lot of people were waking up at the spring and the fall equinox, which it was. That's what the September date, 22nd or 23rd or whatever it
23rd,
was.
September 23rd.
That
Yeah,
was
that
the
was,
fall one. So it seems
yeah,
like
that was actually, sorry.
I was going to say it seems like something happens at those 4 points.
Yeah, the equinoxes and the solstices, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And that happens right then. That's sort of, is it going to be right at that point? Or I do know right now the galactic center is pretty much even with the sun because I was wanting to see. It seems like you should be able to see it coming, you know. And this is one of the things I talked to Joseph Reyna earlier about. Um, he was saying how the wave coming from the sun can actually, or not from our sun, but the central sun of the galaxy can hit our sun and darken it because it makes the whole thing like it's a completely covered, what do you call it, sunspot. It makes the whole thing like a sunspot. And it would cause darkness, and then we would see the light, the
Right,
blue light coming. So that's why I was excited for
right.
him to sort of add the information he had along with what your son was saying because it sounded like, we're going to see this streak of blue lights in the sky and it's going to make the sun go dark. So it won't be like only half the planet gets to see it. Everyone will know it's here and everyone will see it. It will be a global event.
Yeah, he did say something about that, didn't he? But do you know when he said it was going to happen?
No one really knows the exact date, We just know the wave has left and it's on the way. We just, don't know when it's going to reach us. But it seems like it's getting close.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
That's why it was so
Well, I
exciting
mean,
to
it
hear
kind
your
of,
son say that.
yeah, and I mean, his last download too, I just wanted to go over that one again. It was real quick at the middle of December 2017
Hmm.
when he came in real quick and I saw him sitting on a big rock with a beer bottle in his right hand and he said, "The worst is now behind us." And he paused as if it was a metaphor for us as well. And he said, "The healing domes are finished. They finished building them, and now they're chillaxing, taking it easy, and they're focusing on detailing or going inside the healing domes and decorating them with getting them ready for sound therapy, aromatherapy, light therapy, all that." So and then of course Jesus came at the end and said it is finished, and then that was the end of that. It was really quick and it was so beautiful too.
That is beautiful, especially with Jesus saying, it is finished.
It is finished, yeah. So
Ginge
I mean,
Jones
we
had a
can
great
just,
question. Because we know we have, I had to laugh. Somebody the other day said, um, we are free TV. It's a new channel I just subscribed to, but I've been loving her work or whatever. Real positive, but she talks about all the political stuff going on or whatever. But she was talking about the blue moon coming up, the super blue moon, and,
oh,
and
yeah.
she says it only comes by once in a little while, and I thought what a perfect time to say once in a blue moon, and she missed it. And I'm just cracking up laughing. I had to leave a little comment for her. I don't know if she saw it, but I was just
Oh, that's cute.
like,
That's cute. I'm
so do
surprised she
we?
didn't say
Yeah.
that.
So do we have something to look forward to? I'm looking forward to it. I'm hopeful at every turn I can, to be honest with you. But I don't know. Do you have any
Me
feelings
too,
about
but
the
I
blue
mean,
moon?
all the messages. Yeah, all the messages I've been getting from him, and then, 2 nights ago, the big, huge message from my guides, in capital letters running through my head. I mean, cosmic galactic show coming. And they must have said it, like I said, 20, 30 times to the point where I got mad, like, okay, leave me alone. I want to go to sleep. I got it.
And then we have the 10 days of darkness that Q started, and I thought that meant that he wasn't going to be posting any drops, but he's been posting drops these last few days. So we got a lot of different things going on, and
Mhm.
I'm just excited. It feels like I'm in the audience, and every once in a while, Maybe there's someone crowd surfing, or there's a balloon or a beach ball going around the audience, and every once in a while it comes in your area and you get to bump it back up. But for the most part, we're just watching. We're
I
observing,
know.
we're keeping our energy up. We're staying super excited about whatever's coming, and just knowing that it's going to work out no matter what. We do have help. We do have. Oh, and that reminds me, yeah, the great funny story I wanted you to share about the cat. Uh, your cat Shadow that had passed away
Oh,
before
my
your.
cat. Oh my God. Yeah, I didn't put that into the video last time because I didn't think it was that important, but it's so cute. I got that download as well on Valentine's Day last year, 2017. At the very end, like a little treat. He said to me before he left, um, okay, so just going back 6 months before he passed away in February, Christopher and I had to go to the vet to take our 19-year-old cat Shadow to be taken to go to heaven, basically, because he was very, very sick. And I tried to help him and heal him and did Reiki, and I did everything, and nothing worked. And at the end, so we had to put him down. And so we were both hugging him as he's crossing over, and we're crying and stuff. And then fast forward to the message I got from him on Valentine's Day. He said to me, "Oh, by the way, Mom, Shadow is here." And then he downloaded this picture. This is gonna be so funny. He downloaded this picture of our cat Shadow standing up on some tropical beach on a little table with a little straw umbrella over him, a little tiki bar, and there were two glasses of beer there on that little round table. And he's standing up holding his beer glass and is like Puss in Boots, basically, right? Or the avatar, or my avatar with the accordion, right? Just put a bottle of beer in that hand. And so he said to me, "Mom, this is really funny. Shadow is here. He's shape-shifting into anything he wants to. He's hilarious, and he can even shape-shift into a human. And we're just hanging out and having a beer at this tiki bar."
That is so awesome. I know we have a lot of cat lovers in the audience, and pet lovers in general, and a lot of them have wondered what's going to happen to my pet if something happens or whatever. And that goes back to the law of one. It said that pets are like the last, animals before they sort of start over and go to the third density, which is human. So I totally see
Mm,
that all makes sense, because you love your pet. They're so human-like in the way
yeah.
they love you back, and they're happy to see you when you get home. It's totally not like an animal in the wild or a wolf or something. Your dog is sitting there
Yeah.
happy. It doesn't matter how late you come in. The wife might be really pissed about it, but that dog is wagging its tail happy you got
Yeah.
home. That was a Bill Burr
Yeah.
joke. I don't show
And
up
and
late.
they're part of your family. They're like one of your babies, right? And so to see them go, it's hard. And you do grieve for a while, maybe not as much as when you lose a loved one, but still the grief is there, and the absence of their spirit in your house is gone. And I mean, he was with me when we put him down, and yeah, so for him to say, "Yeah, guess what? Shadow is with me and we're having a beer and he's shape-shifting into anything he wants to and he's hilarious." And then I saw the picture of, Puss in Boots standing there having a beer at this tiki bar.
That reminds me, I just wanted to say this really quick. My other friend, Becky Lewis, she has her own YouTube channel, but she was telling me about her cat that passed away, and she would feel something brush against her leg and look down, and there was nothing there. She has other animals too, but she felt like it was, basically saying hello from the other side or whatever. Um,
Aw.
After it passed away, it could sort of come into our reality and just comfort her a little bit. But yeah, animals are like family members for a lot of people. They don't even have kids
Aw.
anymore, and those pets are like a little child to them, or another family member.
And they do make themselves known. I mean, right after Shadow passed away, I could feel him as well, and I actually could hear like when I'm laying in bed at night and I've got the duvet, the feather-filled down duvet, and I could hear it crunch, 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 and I'm looking and you could actually see indentation going towards you, and that was freaky.
Oh wow,
Uh,
that is freaky.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
told her, I said I don't have pets. If I felt something rub against my leg, that would freak me out. I do want pets, but we can't have them where I'm renting. But yeah,
Yeah.
if I felt something rub against my leg, I'd be like, oh my gosh, it freaked me out real
Yeah, that's too bad you can't have any. And you know, cats are very psychic. I mean, my two cats I have here now, every once in a while they will stare at the wall and big eyes and then move their head in unison. And I know it's somebody from the other side. And of course, it's Christopher, the closest one that's to me, right? I mean, my parents are gone, but I don't really feel them coming through anymore because my mom's been gone for 33 years and my dad's been gone for 13 years. So, and you know, you like you said about your own parents, you have the odd dream and stuff, right? But
bad.
not like downloads like this, or I mean, there's so many signs I get every day from Christopher. I could write a book about and we can probably share more about that on Facebook or something else because that would be another 10-hour show.
Yeah,
But
just so
like,
you guys know, the group Facebook group link is in the description. So if you have similar stories you want to share, or you want to, we just started the group today, so she doesn't have anything posted in there. But be sure to join that and follow up because I'm sure other people are going to share their stories in there. I don't have any short stories to share, but I'm going to be in there checking out everybody else's. So
yeah, and the comments on that first video we made, they're just so amazing. Everybody has so much to share, and it just like touches my heart. And you know, and I write them back, and like it would be so much easier just to go on Facebook and get to know everybody and just interact with that. And then, like you said, everybody else can see it as well, right? So we can all, you know, take something out of that and learn from that and help ourselves heal.
and the bashful people will see everybody sharing their stories, and then you guys can share your pet stories too. Like I
Yes.
think that's so cool, you know.
And anything Mandela, I mean, you know, the whole, it's like a big potluck. Everybody brings, you know, stuff to it, and we can all take away from that and go, okay, this is awesome, or, you know.
Yeah, that's one thing this has definitely done, this Mandala effect, as we're calling it now. It's really brought us together, and we would have never met, you know? Think about that. It's been a good thing for
Yeah.
me. Met
Yeah,
so
no
many
kidding,
awesome
right?
people.
Exactly. And you know, didn't you bring up that chart, the world map, where there's pins all over showing where all the Mandela affected people are?
Yeah, I think I still have that. Yeah, that's in the description. So if you all are affected by the Mandela effect, but you haven't put in your location, the Jason Christopher, I don't know if he's still in the room, but his link to his the video where you just put into a comment your location, then we'll add a pin. Biker Babe's been updating the map, and it's really amazing. It goes right along with the density map. Um, at first, I thought there was this big gap in the middle of the United States on it, but then I pulled up a density map, and there's a big gap of people there. I guess not many people are in Montana and the Dakotas or whatever. It's just probably a big plain or
Oh,
something.
that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, went right with it though, I thought. And even I looked at it in Australia. I'm like, why is everybody on the edge? You know, and then I pulled up the density map, and it's like all white except for the edge. There's these little dark spots. I'm like, man, they need to get some people then go and walk about in the bush or something away from the edge.
Go,
You know.
go sit, go sit on Ayers Rock. Yeah.
But yeah, there was little pins on all the little spots where the people were. I'm like, wow, that's just amazing. So it looks like, as far as the English speaking areas that were covered, we have people pretty much everywhere. I think Greenland was pretty blank, but it didn't have any density at all there. So.
You mean where the North Pole used to be?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Gosh, it's just gone. You know, White Rabbit.
Yeah,
I love
Melbourne.
that avatar or that little emoticon, that the thinking face emoticon. White
Oh,
Rabbit.
yeah.
So for
I wish
pondering.
I could, yeah, I wish I could see your chat, but I can't, so. Hello, everybody in the chat room. I love you.
Oh, that's right. You were talking. I didn't get to tell you there was people that were sending their love. I think Colin was one of them.
Oh,
Um,
thank you. Thank you,
yes.
thank you. Right back at you.
Yeah, that
Um,
looks like it. So if you all don't have any other questions, there's Jason Christopher. Yeah, I didn't know if you were still here, but that
Hi,
map is
Jason.
sure filling up nicely. Have you seen it lately?
Wow, that's awesome.
I don't know if
No,
it's.
I've only gone on that one day last week.
Yeah, that's so cool to see so many people. And I do have a few. I think it'd be cool to have like traveling. Well, Jason Christopher, don't you? You've got like a traveling type vehicle. You know, to do like a tour or something, man. That'd be cool to have like somebody tour
Like a
around. And there's a few other people that play instruments and sing and stuff. I'm like, what if we had the Mandela band or something? You know what I mean?
Mandela man. Yeah.
Go on
Yeah,
tour and
get out your mandolin, right? Your Mandela mandolin.
yeah, we could have some Tibetan monks travel with us and make mandalas everywhere we go. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we could have like a little Woodstock, everybody get into a VW camper from the 60s with a peace sign on it, and we'll just travel around.
Oh my gosh, I could already
Uh,
see our higher self shaking their heads like, why are you trying to commercialize this? This is like what we're trying to wake you up from. But it isn't really
we're
that.
trying
It's
to
just,
wake ourselves up, right?
yeah, exactly. Well, this has been a real blast. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, it was awesome. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
No
Too
problem.
bad that Joseph couldn't make it. I was really looking forward to talking to Joseph, but I'm sure he's busy. We can do another time.
Oh yeah, we already planned on doing another time anyway. We just this sort of got him excited and stuff. He's gonna try to fit it in, but yeah, another time. Things
No
always
worries.
work out how they're supposed to, so
Exactly, right?
seems to be the case. Well, I hate to end it with 49 people in here. I feel like I'm kicking people out of the house, at the end of the party. Like,
Parties over, yeah.
give me the chips, give me the beer, get out. But it's not like that at all. Well, maybe Jason, you about to go live? Everybody can after party at Jason's house.
Yeah, parties being moved to Jason's house, yeah. BYOB.
Yeah, right.
Bring your own Bible.
Yeah, bring your own Bible.
The clean version.
Well, I guess if there's no other questions, I guess we can call it a show. This is oh, wow, I looked up, I swear to God, I looked up to see how long the video was, and it said
Yeah.
1 hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds. It was one
Oh,
straight across there.
come.
That's the life I
No.
live. You know what I mean? It's like, what the heck?
Oh,
I wish I would have just stopped it right then. That would have been so perfect.
oh, that's so perfect. I know it happens to all of us so
Yeah, it
much
sure
lately,
does.
right?
It's like, man, I'll look at there'll be 111 views or oh, you know what happened the other day? I was watching some show and they were like entering this building. What show was that? Travelers. If you
Mhm.
guys haven't seen Travelers, you should check it out. It's a really good show. So, I'm watching Travelers, and I think it was the first episode. They come in the front of this building to all meet, and I looked up, and you can see the address was like I'm sort of guessing on the address. I can't remember now. I think it's at 705, but it was backwards because they were looking out through the glass at the address. And just then, I looked down at the time, and it was 705, and I was like, "What the heck? What these little
No.
coincidences? If you're paying attention, there are so many little things to point at the fact that this reality isn't just
Mhm.
randomness. It's orchestrated,
Yeah.
and there's little bitty
Well,
hints at that.
so do you think like I mean, we all know now it's a computer simulated reality or matrix or whichever. So do you think that we actually, our higher selves, are sitting behind a control panel, pushing certain buttons to remind ourselves to make ourselves laugh, like with the numbers especially, right? On the clocks and stuff?
I think we're sort of confined to the time part of it. Um,
Hmm.
and they aren't confined to the time. I always think back to the Law of One when it talks about us being in time or space time and our higher selves being in time space. So it's like when they move around in time, where when we move around in space, and the time's sort of locked in, and their space is sort of locked in, but they can move around time. So it's easy for them to sort of line up synchronicities and do things like that where it's
Hmm.
easy for us to move about on the planet, but we can't really do anything about the time part of it. So I always look at it like that. That's why they can do a whole life review and it doesn't really take any time, before you
Yeah,
come back in.
exactly, right? Yeah.
That's just sort of how I view it, but I don't really know. It seems still pretty limiting, you know. I mean, they
Good
need
guess.
this
Yeah,
part
I
of
guess
us.
we'll.
They need this part of us to do the acting out while they sort of guide us. Um, and they can. It's sort of like being in the, seeing this bird's eye view of what's going on, and we're like the foot soldiers. They can see what's coming up down the road, and where we
Uh-huh.
can't, so they can sort of say, "Hey, be careful there," or "This is going to happen," and and I think that plays out quite a bit when we just have a feeling to wait a minute before we leave, or to go a different way we don't normally go, or and we never see what would have happened, but we just had a feeling
Yeah,
of
the
some sort.
intuition kicks in, right?
Yeah, definitely. But if our face is
Yeah.
stuffed in our cell phone, then either we won't notice, or it'll resort to showing us number patterns that brings us back to the moment. Oh, 11:11. Oh, and it sort of keeps us in the moment. So I think of it as like little hints from our higher selves.
Well, I'm just waiting for our higher selves up there to send a big emergency message to every single cell phone down here, just like they did in Hawaii, saying, "Look up, drop your cell phone."
Oh wow, that's gonna be so amazing. And
Yeah.
until Joseph Reyna said that today, that the sun would go dark during that time. Um, I was hoping it would happen at night. I'm like, man, I really want to see it at night when it's going to look brilliant. And the way he made it sound that he was getting it is that it's going to be brilliant everywhere. But that would be even
Wow.
cooler if if the sun went dark and you're like, what the heck? And then you see this blue brilliant light. I guess it would be sort of scary for a lot of people. Like
Yeah.
what you said about the healing centers. They're sitting drinking beers and watching the hockey game, and then all of a sudden the sun goes out and blue lights in the sky. What the
Yeah.
heck?
Yeah. WTF is what my son said. Yeah.
Right.
The Walmart people. Yeah. I end up in the healing dome. So, uh, with Jesus waiting there in his Walmart apron, greeting everyone.
That's
Um,
going to be awesome. Well, this was a
yeah.
wonderful
And
show. We had a blast. Were you going to say something else?
no, no, that's perfect. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Cats are magical. Somebody says yes. Cats are magical. They do seem to. Oh,
Yeah.
I meant to say this earlier when we were talking about the cats. Jen's Gems showed me this picture. Or it was like a little GIF, and it looked like a fairy or some kind of little light was flying right in front of her cat. Her cat got up, and it sort of flew right in front of her cat. That was so cool. I don't know if you put that in the video or not, Jen, but that was
Oh,
amazing.
really?
It just makes you wonder if there's little fairies and stuff. I've heard people talk about it. It's crazy sounding, but
I've had dreams. Yeah. Yeah. I've had dreams about them, and I see a lot of orbs.
hmm
Uh, little orbs blinking on and off in different colors. So, it does make you wonder if, like, the veil is definitely thinning, and we are getting, we're melting at, like, their dimension into ours, or we're getting up to their dimensions, which makes things like that more visible to us too, right?
definitely, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I
my
was
cat
just.
is laying here on my notes.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I guess love you guys. I appreciate you guys stopping in, and lots of love and light. Also to Angela, and thank you so much, Jose, for holding down the fort.
Thank you,
And
Jose. Thank you, everyone. Lots of love and light and joy and peace and bliss and happiness.
definitely, I'm sending you guys a bunch of hearts right now.
Aw.
All right, I guess that's gonna do it. Until next time, I appreciate you coming on, Angie or Angela.
Yeah.
Sorry, somebody,
Ah, don't call me Angie.
someone
Oh,
called
we
you
went
Angie
over
in the.
this.
Someone called you that in the chat,
Yeah,
and
never mind.
it was in my head.
Oh no,
Ange,
that's okay. Like I,
Angela.
like I said earlier, you can call me anything. Just don't call me Angie. That's like I'm allergic to that.
I
I'm
thought
very.
that too when somebody wrote it. I'm like, oh, she's gonna see this on the replay.
I'll tell you next time why I don't like the name Angie.
I think. Okay, Angela. Ange.
Well,
Anything?
yeah. Well, thank you so much, Jane. It's been just a blast. It feels like you're sitting right next to me on the couch here, and we're just having a cup of coffee and laughing and joking. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day, and thank you everybody in the chat room, and I love you lots, and I'll respond to you as soon as I can.
Yeah, don't forget to follow the link, you guys, in the Facebook link. It's at the very top of the description window.
Mhm.
And with that, we are
Thank
out of
you.
here. Have a good one.
Hasta la vista.
Hasta la vista.